Hey, so this question, why are raw vegans antisocial? I get this asked by vegans and also by people who aren't vegan. And it's a little bit tongue in cheek. I think there is some truth to it, but I want to explain a little bit of my experience and observations and hope that helps shed some light on new ideas for you. So, what often happens is because moving to a low fat raw vegan diet or even just a cooked vegan diet requires so many paradigm shifts to take place, people begin to look at their life in new ways and all of the aspects of it, including their social relationships. And so, when you're on this new journey, finding different interests and establishing new values for yourself, and your friends are not on the same page anymore, it can really cause you to question things. I see a good analogy being that drugs and alcohol in social situations can be similar to food additives in that they can really be numbing, stimulating, and distracting. People doing 80-10-10 can probably relate to this best, but it's this question of when we remove all of those additives, all of those substances and stimulants, what's left? Are those potatoes and rice and refined grains really all that tasty when they're not doused in grease and sprinkled with salt? So, related to this, maybe certain social situations or environments, when extracted from these distractions, we start to realize it's actually kind of bland, whether it's the music we used to listen to, or the places we used to hang out at, or the friends we used to have, or the job we're in, or life as a whole. People keep themselves numb and distracted for a reason because they don't want to see it's actually quite dull. So if it's true that you start to realize that these things you used to do or places you used to hang out at are kind of boring and unsupportive of where you want to be, there starts to emerge this general reevaluation of all of the components of life, which is huge. It may be that you start to see how party scenes often present this unique contradiction where, although we're all sharing the same physical space, everybody, because of their chosen substance intake, is kind of lost in their own world very deeply, and it presents this kind of illusion of connection. The results of substance abuse really speak for themselves. Nobody enjoys feeling like crap after going out for their fun night and having the next day being a write-off and being unproductive and putting that abuse on your body. So abstaining from these activities means the whole world of opportunities opens up for you, and you can start to really pursue things that speak to your heart. And that can be anything, whether it's doing a pottery class or being a part of the I Heart Giraffe Club, or still even going out dancing with your friends, just not drinking, because that's what truly makes you happy, and it's not waking up in a fog of regret the next morning. When making any kind of change to old habits, there's going to be some discomfort. Taking away something means a whole new space opens up, and there can be a lot of fear that comes up with this, and it can be very scary, and it can also give people the opportunity to ask, who am I? Like, without all of these extra distractions, who am I? And then more and more questions will arise. You start to look at relationships and ask yourself, are they really nurturing, fulfilling, and satisfying to me? Or is it similar to the junk food that I used to eat in the past, where it's just empty calories and they're not satisfying and nourishing at all? It might be that with this new phase of your life, it could just be a time for more introspection than you've had in the past, and
socializing just becomes less of a priority for a period of time. Perhaps not just a physical cleansing is needed with the food you're eating and the exercise you're employing, but almost like a social cleansing of sorts, where you're looking at your relationships for the first time. It's common that people start to gravitate towards wanting to optimize their social relationships. And just as you would choose more and more healthy options, more foods richer in nutrients, we can start to seek out quality elsewhere in life. I'm by no means advocating that we block off the world from ourselves. I just believe that there are ebbs and flows to life, and nurturing one's relationship with themselves, although not so appreciated in the Western world, is invaluable. So let's get back to this being a scary place to be, because for the first time, we're asking, what are my needs?
It might be true that you realize to fulfill these needs, I'm gonna have to step out of my comfort zone a little bit. And yet another part of the struggle is this idea of, I kind of don't want to condone the behavior of my friends, of them using drugs, alcohol, processed foods, cigarettes, because I care about them. I care about their health. And then on top of that, I don't want to be tempted myself to fall back into those habits. I actually like to surround myself with people who support me in moving towards a healthier me. And maybe my current relationships don't provide this. In the initial stages of adopting any kind of change, there can be some trepidation. And then on top of that, if you're the only person in your social circle who's embarking on this raw vegan path, it can be kind of annoying and tedious to be constantly explaining yourself and your choices. And there can be some shyness around this, because even though you know that on a mental and a physical and a heart level that you're instituting positive change for yourself, you've only been doing it for a little while, and you don't have the confidence that comes ultimately just with time and experience. So all of these new questions are presented to you, and maybe you're not ready to answer them at this point, and it can be kind of intimidating, and often people shy away.
And then there's the judgment that comes up, the self-righteousness of sorts. It may be that you're presenting this aura of, I've been on this raw vegan diet for 4 days now, and I've just had this grand revelation. How can you not be on the same page as me? How could you possibly be eating butter? You're so insensitive, and really, I can't be dragged down by your level of ignorance. No wonder that kind of attitude really pushes people away and makes friends into people who used to be friends. We all know that going out and socializing often involves food, and when there's judgment present, it can really alter the message you're trying to portray.
Although your intention might be to express that, I've experienced this profound shift in my life, and I'm experiencing a new level of joy and of ease as a result. I'd love for you to join me in this experience because I care about you and your health, and I just simply want to share because it's so lovely. Which is something I think we all instinctually do. You know when you like bite into something that's so delicious and your first reaction is just like, oh my god, this is so good, gotta try this. We all do that because we want to share. We want to share what's good. So anyways, your intention is to express that I found a new depth of social interaction by shedding some of my own vices. I miss you, and I'd love to be able to connect in a deeper way. You might truly want this all to come across, but when you end up sitting down together and they unwrap their burger and you're not being as skillful as you'd like to be, all you can come up with is, are you really gonna eat that? Something really important that I've come to learn is that love is is about meeting people where they're at. And this includes yourself. And perhaps this is not something you're ready to do right now at the beginning of your raw journey, because it's enough to hold space for yourself. And that's okay. So this is where this time for introspection comes in. And it's really wonderful to be willing to look at yourself and to be seeking this individual growth. Unfortunately, there's kind of this dirty label stamped upon acts like this of being selfish, when in fact striving towards personal development is ultimately the most selfless thing you can do. We all know that you have to put on your own airline mask before you can assist somebody else. We all know that your cup has to run full before it can runneth over. You're not looking to get burnt out in the short term, and you're not looking to be a burden for anybody in the long term. You're looking to be an individual fulfilled enough that you're capable of supporting others. And this means taking care of yourself. This means identifying your own needs and getting them met. This is one of the reasons I enjoy the principles of natural hygiene so much, is because needs are outlined in a very clear way.
It simply encourages one to, when feeling out of balance, first, before any other intervention, just simply address the core requirements of the human experience. This is rather than first using drugs, legal or illegal, stimulants, processed foods, invasive surgery, because all of these things may have their own repercussions. So, to get back to it, it's really my observation that raw vegans are not antisocial. It's just that, like everyone else, they're finding their way.
I wish that for you, wherever you're at, you're able to find the patience and the understanding to move in wherever your chosen direction takes you. I have some related resources, all on socializing while being raw foodists, some recipe books that are low-fat raw vegan stuff that I eat if you're curious about that, and then some more fun stuff on natural hygiene if you're curious on that topic. And if you don't like people and you're a raw foodist, you can always become a crazy cat lady like me. This is my kitty. What is that? Hi! Oh my god!